Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and today's news, rumors, roster cuts is presented by True Classic Tees. If you guys are looking for the best t-shirts out there, I'm telling y'all right now, not only are they comfortable, but they're meant to fit normal human beings. I mean, all the time you see these models out there with those six-packs. I don't have a six-pack. Do you guys have a six-pack? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but these shirts are made to not only look great, but they're also relatively cheap, and 25% off using promo code CHAT at the link that y'all see down there below at trueclassictees.com/chat. Shout out to our new sponsor. All right, y'all, so what's going to be coming up here on today's show is we're going to go through the Raiders roster cuts because entering today, the Silver and Black had 83 players on their active roster, which means they had to get down to 80 players, which means you only had to move on from 3. We knew one of the dudes that was already going to end up getting axed, which was Kenyan Drake, if the Las Vegas Raiders couldn't find a trade partner, and, well, the Raiders couldn't find a trade partner. So he ends up getting the deal, or getting axed, I guess is what I should say. And then we'll talk about the other 2 players, how that impacts the Raiders' depth. And at the very, very end of today's show, I'll tell you all the practice news and notes that you need to have. If this is the first time you've ever come across the Raiders Report, we give you guys videos every day. We go live at least twice a week, and shit, I've been live 5 times this week already. We're an interactive show, so shout out to Daniel Jimenez, Buddy Bear, David Zahn, Raider Ron, and Brandon Jasper, everyone always tuning in. We're also 100% free, so hit that sub button. So the Raiders, they move on from Kenyan Drake. We first got news yesterday. I broke it all down for you, but now it's officially official. Kenyan Drake is no longer a member of the Las Vegas Raiders, and the way that this ends up impacting our checkbook, if you will, since the Raiders move on from him, you save $250,000 this year. I would like that money, but in the NFL world, $250K is nothing. It's a dead cap hit of $3.6 million this year, and then a dead cap hit of $4.4 million next year, so in total, $8 million. Now again, if the Raiders would have been able to trade him, we would have saved $2.75 million, and you've only had these small cap hits. Unfortunately, though, nobody was willing to pay the money for Drake. If a team would have made the deal for Drake, they would have had to pay him $2.5 million. No team thought that that was worth it. So now the updated Raiders running back depth chart looks like Josh Jacobs, Zamir White, and I really, truly believe the biggest reasons why Drake is no longer a member of the team is because Brandon Bolden and Amir Abdul are simply better pass catchers in this new regime, and I have some interesting quotes coming up here in just a second around Kenyan, but I saw him post this on Instagram. He posted it on Twitter, and he said, "My favorite Raiders picture is also my last picture with the team." I thought he was very complimentary of the organization, of the fan base. I'm always going to wish Drake well because he was a player that I liked and covered. Yes, I admit it was a weird signing when it first went down, but I appreciate Kenyan. I've actually had the opportunity to speak to a few people very close to him, and all I want you guys to do right now, type 23 down in those comments, right? Whether you're a big-time Raider fan, whether you're just showing up for the first time, I think we can all agree, once a Raider, always a Raider, even if you're not here for a long time. I want players, I want fans, I want people to know that we are the most diehard fan base out there, and we're going to make sure that we are repping with our players. So, please type 23 down in the comments. I do have some Kenyan Drake quotes coming up here in just a second, but before I do, today's show sponsored by True Classic Tees, and you can get the staple 6-pack, which you can see right here, only $14.99 per t-shirt. That sounds pretty good to me. Or you can get the Essential 9-pack. That's only $13.88 per t-shirt. I'm wearing it right now. It's super comfortable. It's made for guys. Like, it is made for, I'll say, normal-looking human beings, not these super cut-up, ripped jack guys. I'm sorry, I'm not there anymore. You can also get the Polo pack, too. How? By going to trueclassictees.com/chat. Make sure you use the promo code. Promo code chat is going to save you 25% off. I'm going to say it one more time because I felt like some of y'all were maybe sipping on a cold one, which, hey, I'm all for because True Classic Tees, they support my dad bought my beer belly here a little bit. So promo code chat, get your hands on some True Classic Tees at the link that you see below. And for whatever reason, you can't see the screen, it's also available for y'all in the comments. It's available for y'all in the description down there. Promo code chat at trueclassictees.com/chat. All right, let's talk about some of these quotes coming in from Kenyan Drake. And this is what he had to say to Josina Anderson on either being cut or traded. I'm just vibing at the crib right now. I'm just waiting on the next 24 hours. This quote was from yesterday. I didn't think anyone would trade for me just because of the contract situation. Either way, Raiders have to pay me. I'm at peace with the decision. Honestly, I felt like the writing has been on the wall recently, like within the last 2 to 3 weeks. I never felt like I had a fair shot to really compete for the job coming off the injury. At the end of the day, that's business. I feel like as time progressed through camp, there really wasn't a role for me to have anymore because they had guys that they brought in, they traded for, and I was kind of the odd man out, especially coming off of my injury. Other than that, I'm at peace with it because I know my capabilities as a player. I know the people are going to use me how I definitely feel like I needed to be used because I'm a playmaker. On which scheme fits his skill set the best? Personally, I feel like he can fit in any type of scheme. I proved to be a first and second down back in Arizona, and through my entire career, I proved to be a versatile out there on the backfield catching passes. In special teams, I'm a professional. At the end of the day, I love ball. I don't think it really matters where, as long as they give me the opportunity to go and compete. I got a lot of tread left on my tires. Now, remember, y'all are watching the Raiders Report here on YouTube, and personally, I like that that's Kenyan Drake's mindset. I agree, the Raiders do have to pay him, and if I was him, I would have said the exact same thing. Do I wish that it could have worked out a little bit differently from a dead money standpoint? Yes. But if you follow the show here, if you follow the show on Locals, you would have known that this move was ultimately about to happen. 2 more moves that the Raiders made in terms of moving on from a player. First, wide receiver Chris Lacy. They signed him literally like 2 weeks ago, and now no longer a member of the team. And I think this just really comes down to the extra depth that they have overall at the wide receiver position. And I think it also comes down to the Raiders have been using Isaiah Zuber a little bit more on special teams, and he has a little bit more special teams availability than Chris Lacy. But he's not better than Dylan Stoner. He's not better than Justin Hall. He's not better than DJ Turner. And as much as the Raiders cooked the Patriots today in joint practice, for a guy like Lacy who did not suit up, he did not practice, as soon as I got the note that he wasn't out there, I remember looking over to somebody else who works here at Chat Sports, and I was like, yeah, he's going to end up getting cut. Another cut that ended up going down here was cornerback Chris Jones. And when the Raiders signed Jones this offseason, I was intrigued by the move. Not because I thought he had a legitimate shot at making the 53, but a lot of reports out of camp said that he was playing well. I thought he actually looked pretty damn good in that first preseason game up against Jacksonville. However, not great against Minnesota, and then not great against Miami. He's falling down that depth chart, which now means he's out. But I also have to compliment players like Sam Webb, who I think has been looking okay. And then also Ike Brown. Last week, Ike Brown up against the Miami Dolphins. He was targeted 4 times. He had 3 pass breakups, did not give up a single catch. So to me, Ike Brown jumped him on the depth chart. No longer a spot for Chris Jones. So those were the 3 moves that the Raiders ended up making today on roster cut day. The next final day of roster cuts will be next Tuesday. So you can bet your butt we're going to be live here for that. So you got to go from 80 to get down to all the way down to 53 by next week. It's going to be a very, very intriguing week. So it's going to be really, really important to make sure you got those notifications turned on. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so. All right, let's talk about those 3 cuts. Which one surprised you the most from today? The obvious answer I anticipate is going to be Kenyan Drake, but I figured I would ask you anyway because, well, I did an entire live show yesterday on Drake. So is it Chris Jones? Is it Chris Lacy? If you still want to say it's Kenyan Drake, cool part about this show, it's always up to y'all. All right, y'all, coming up next here on the Raiders Report, we're going to be looking at some training camp news and notes in terms of what's the most important things that I gathered from Raiders joint practice today up against the New England Patriots. And there's definitely a lot of things that I can wrap my mind around. I almost feel bad for some of the people that were just sitting out there cooking in the sun, but if you would have had a true classic tee on, you wouldn't have been able to tell that you were sweating through it, because these t-shirts, man, they're high quality. So before we get into some of those camp notes, I do got to give some shout-outs to people that have sent in some super thanks, some super chats. So Bruce Rents, what up, my dude? I appreciate you always sending in super thanks. Much love to you. It definitely helps out the show quite a bit. Mark Rousman, he's always sending some money in, which, again, for a free show like this, it goes a long way. Tony, is it Knutson? I don't know. Make sure you note Rich Eisen was all in on the Raiders today. Jump ship for the safe bet. Him, also Cowherd. They're like, oh, I'm all in on Derek Carr, this. But you're not going to predict him to go to the playoffs. Exactly. And then Steve Romero, yesterday when we were live for Kenyan Drake, I ended the show early, and I noticed Steve, he sent in 2 shot clocks, which means Jeremy and I are going to take 2 shots at the end of today's live show. Ace Boy Jesso, he sent one in. Said, just saying what's up, Mitch. Finally getting a chance to catch a live show on time. Can you shout out my son, Braden? It's his first day of kindergarten. Braden, congratulations. Your dad, he's a good guy. So that's 3 shots Jeremy and I got to do at the end of today's show. And then Alan Cruz, what up, Mitch? Happy Monday to all of you. Again, this is from yesterday. Going to crack open a cold one, but I do have a question. How would you rank the quarterbacks of the AFC West? How would I rank them? Right now, I would go Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr. To me, though, all of these guys have the ability to finish in that top 10. I'm a real one. Y'all can hate on me for that if you want, but hey, I'm never going to shy away from being 100% legitimate, because that totally goes against everything I possibly believe in. So, without further ado, let's get into some of this practice news, right? Josh Jacobs, LFG, Spam JJ, Spam 28, he's back at practice. And as soon as I got the report that he's coming out onto the field, I was like, dude, here we go. I've been targeting him in all of my fantasy leagues, and y'all should too. If he stays healthy, guaranteed top 15 running back. Denzel Perryman, he was back out there on practice. So not only did you have a leader on offense, you had one of the leaders out there on your defense as well at linebacker. Clelin Ferrell, he was back at practice today. He's been out for a while. And I really, really am intrigued, because one of the teams that I've thought for a long time that could potentially make a trade for Clee was, in fact, the New England Patriots. So maybe Clee's trying to show off here a little bit. Somebody who wasn't at practice was Darren Waller. This has been an interesting situation. So he's been dealing with a minor hamstring injury. I'm hoping that the hammy's going to be okay. Again, they're very difficult injuries to be able to figure out from top to bottom. But Waller is dealing with a little bit of an injury news. Other people who did not practice today, Brandon Parker, well, no shit, he's not going to play this year. Thayer Munford, Darren Waller, Jacob Hollister, Chris Lacy, no longer a member of the team. Chris Jones, no longer a member of the team. And then Matthias Farley, a safety. So in total, 7 players didn't practice today, only 5 of which are still on the team. More training camp practice today. Jermaine Eluemunor, he started at right tackle, and he was the very first guy to go out there. From what it sounded like, it was Colton Miller, Dylan Parham then started at left guard, Andre James at center, Leston Cotton at right guard, and then Eluemunor at right tackle. But I told y'all when the Raiders drafted Parham out of Memphis, this kid can do a lot of things, and it sounds like Parham is starting to jump over John Simpson as that potential starting left guard option. Something else that got me excited, and I'm glad you guys can't see underneath the table because vertical. Apparently Davante Adams and Derek Carr were straight cooking dudes out there today. There was Davante Adams' red zone touchdown, 30-yard touchdown down the field. DC, from everything that I've been told, has looked unbelievable. Apparently he's thrown only 1 interception this entire offseason during training camp. And the Patriots cornerbacks could not handle the Raiders wide receivers. Adams looked great. Renfro looked great. I was told the other wide receiver that stood out today was Tyron Johnson. Some more Raiders news because, again, apparently they just straight dominated New England today at joint practice. Jayon Brown had 2 interceptions, one of which he took to the house. And if you want to see the video, I've posted it on my Instagram story. I've also posted it on Twitter at MitchellRens365, but it was tipped by Divine Diablo. So Mac Jones drops back, throws the ball, tipped by Divine. Jayon catches it, and it was to the hizzy. And probably the best part about that video is at the end, Jayon starts throwing up the peace sign. Love it. Love them. I just love the energy that defense is bringing, that the team's bringing, because the Patriots are supposedly a good team. Sounds like the Raiders straight up embarrassed them today. Now, before I wrap up my news and rumors show, I do want to tell y'all this weekend, I'm going to be hanging out with Graphic Raider. I'm going to be hanging out with Samoan Raider, a lot of these other Raiders content creators. And if you want to join the biggest Raiders party of the year, it's called Week 0 Raider Nation 2022 Kickoff Party. If these QR codes are big enough, please make sure you scan them. It's going to be a huge, huge Raiders party in California. I'm flying out right after the Patriots game, hopping on there. Violator's going to be there. Corrupt's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of music performers. Afterwards, there's a festival. Can't tell you what that festival is, but if you scan the QR code, you'll find out. 420 people, you'll like it. And then on top of that, man, we got Hall of Famers there like Warren Sapp. I mean, I can't wait to be able to rock and roll with Raider Nation. I've been talking to a lot of people. There's going to be tons and tons of people there. Food, prizes, you're going to meet old Raiders players, a lot of Raiders content creators. That's where I'm going to be on this Saturday. So Week 0, Raider Nation 2022 kickoff party. You scan that QR code right there with your phone. Get set up. I know Danny Jimenez. I'll see you there, bro. So anyone that wants to go party with me and a lot of other Raiders content creators, you scan that QR code right there, and I'll see you this weekend.